Here with reaction is Utah Senator and author of Written Out of History, Senator Mike Lee. Senator, thank you very much for joining us today. I'm sure you want to start by saying something about your colleague, John McCain.
Yes, I certainly do. John McCain is a friend, and he's a great colleague. I was with about 15 or 20 senators last night discussing the health care bill when the news came out about Senator McCain. We were immediately saddened, and there were a lot of emotions in the room. We immediately paused and had a prayer. A prayer was offered by Senator James Lankford, who is himself a pastor, and we were all very saddened by the news. Our thoughts and our prayers go out to John and Cindy McCain and their family.
They certainly do, from all of us. Of course, he does have a day job, and I know he would probably like to be back in the halls of the Senate as well to try to do something regarding health care. Where does it stand with him out of the picture right now, recovering?
Well, discussions are ongoing. We're still trying to get to something that relieves the American people from the oppressive yoke of Obamacare. This is what we've been talking about, not just for days, but for weeks and for months. I continue to believe that there is a way to get there. But we have to remember, Steve, that when the Democrats built Obamacare, they built a Berlin Wall to keep the American people inside. The Consumer Freedom Amendment that I'm offering tears that wall down, and it's time to do that. It's time to offer the American people the chance to connect with willing insurers to buy the policy that's right for them. This amendment would leave other protections in place for those who need them, but it would also create other options for those who want them.
Okay, so let me get this straight. A couple of days ago, you and Jerry Moran announced at the last minute, you know, we're going to be no's on this question whether or not we should proceed, and you threw a monkey wrench into things. So now you're saying on anything upcoming, as long as in the Consumer Freedom Amendment, they address your concerns, you would be a yes vote?
Yes, all things being equal, if they could get that, I could get to yes. Now, I speak only for myself. I control only my vote. But what I'm saying is if all things being equal, if they added that with those protections, the protections of the dual pool, the fully loaded Consumer Freedom Amendment, I could get to yes.
All right. Do you have any sense at this point, Senator, how many other people in your caucus on the Republican side are yeses and how many are no's?
Look, most are yeses. There are some who say they've got some conditions attached to conditions of smaller or greater degrees of magnitude. I'm not going to attempt to identify where everyone is because that can change from one moment to moment, and I don't have the authority to speak for anyone but myself.
I understand that apparently the Senate leadership is adding $200 billion to states that expanded Medicaid. Is that what you're hearing, to try to get some of the moderates on board as well?
To my knowledge, no decision like that has been made. That would seem to be a pretty big step in a particular direction.
It's a lot of
money. That is a lot of money. I mean, that amounts to, 1% of our national debt. That is an enormous amount of money, and I would like to know where that's going if it's not going to deficit reduction.
Okay. So as we sit here on this Thursday, do we have any idea what the timetable is with John McCain out in Arizona convalescing? We're wondering, is there going to be a vote next week, the week after? Just curious what the plan is.
As close as these vote margins are, it's hard for me to imagine us moving on to this without John McCain present. I'm unfortunately unaware of what his condition entails and what that means for how soon he might be able to travel back to Washington. All
right. Well, we certainly hope he is able to return as soon as possible because we would like to see him on the road to recovery. Senator Mike Lee, Republican from the great state of Utah. Sir, thank you very much for joining us live.
Thank you, Steve.
You bet.